Hello. Have you ever heard of 3D printing? It's a really cool technology that lets us create all sorts of things using a special printer. In this video, I'll tell you all about 3D printing, how it started, what we do with it, and what amazing things we can expect from it in the future. 3D printing is a technology that lets us create three-dimensional objects using a printer that builds the object layer by layer. It's like magic. Imagine being able to create your own toys, jewelry, and even food right at home. The history of 3D printing goes back to the 1980s, when a man named Chuck Hull invented the first 3D printer. He was trying to find a way to make plastic parts for his company using a special kind of liquid resin, and he came up with the idea of using lasers to turn the liquid into solid objects, layer by layer. The very first thing that was created using a 3D printer was a small plastic cup. It wasn't anything too fancy, but it was a big deal because it showed that the 3D printer could actually create physical objects from a computer design. I bet you are curious about the price range of 3D printers. Just like with most things, 3D printers can come in all sorts of shapes, sizes, and prices. Some 3D printers can be as cheap as a few $100s, while others can cost tens of thousands of dollars. But don't worry, you don't need to spend a ton of money to get started with 3D printing. There are plenty of affordable options out there for beginners, such as the Creality Ender 3 or the Monoprice Mini Delta. These printers usually cost between $100 and $500. If you want a fancier 3D printer with more features, such as a bigger build volume or faster print speeds, you might have to spend a bit more money. 3D printers like the Prusa i3 Plus or the Ultimaker S3 can cost between $1,000 to $3,000. And if you're feeling really fancy, you can splurge on a high-end industrial 3D printer, which can cost upwards of $10,000. These types of printers are usually used by big companies to create things like airplane parts or medical implants. Nowadays, 3D printing is used in many different industries, from healthcare to aerospace. We can use it to create prosthetic limbs for people who need them, parts for airplanes and spaceships, and even models for architects and engineers. 3D printing has revolutionized the healthcare industry in so many ways. It is being used to create prosthetic limbs that are customized to fit the individual patient's needs. This means that the patient gets a comfortable and functional prosthetic that is designed just for them, and at a lower cost than traditional prosthetics. Doctors can use 3D printing to create models of patients' organs or body parts before a surgery. This allows them to better plan and practice the surgery ahead of time, reducing the risk of complications during the actual surgery. 3D printing is being used to create custom implants for patients, such as dental implants or implants for joint replacements. These implants are designed to fit perfectly in the patient's body, reducing the risk of complications and improving outcomes. 3D printing is also being used to create models of patients' organs or body parts for educational purposes. This allows medical students and doctors to better understand the anatomy of the body, improving their ability to diagnose and treat patients. 3D printing is being used to create models of molecules and drugs, allowing researchers to better understand how they work and how they can be improved. 3D printing works by using a computer program to design the object you want to create, and then the printer builds the object layer by layer using materials like plastic or metal. One of the coolest things about 3D printing is that you can create your own designs using special software on your computer. You can let your imagination run wild and create anything you can think of. 3D printing is also very useful for fixing things around the house. If you have a broken toy or a missing piece of furniture, you can use a 3D printer to create a replacement part instead of having to buy a whole new item. In the future, 3D printing will become even more amazing. Scientists are working on ways to use 3D printing to create human organs, which would be life-changing for people who need transplants. 3D printing can also be used in space. Imagine astronauts being able to print their own tools and replacement parts while they're on a long mission. Another cool thing about 3D printing is that you can use different materials and colors to create your objects. You can make a blue toy, a green vase, or a purple necklace. In the future, 3D printing could even be used to create entire buildings. This would be a huge breakthrough in the construction industry and could help us build affordable housing much more quickly. 3D printing can also be used to create customized products, like orthotic shoes or dental implants. This means that people can get personalized products that fit them perfectly. One of the benefits of 3D printing is that it's better for the environment than traditional manufacturing methods. 3D printing can use less material and create less waste, which is good for our planet. In the future, we might even be able to use 3D printing to create entire cities on other planets. Imagine being able to print homes, schools, and parks on Mars or the Moon. With 3D printing, we can create objects that are impossible to make with traditional manufacturing methods. We can create complex shapes and moving parts all in one piece, which is pretty amazing. In conclusion, 3D printing is an exciting technology that has so much potential. We can use it to create all sorts of things, from toys to organs, and even buildings on other planets. The possibilities are endless, and I can't wait to see what amazing things we'll create with 3D printing in the future. Who knows, maybe you'll even become a 3D printing expert and create your own inventions. I hope you enjoyed learning about 3D printing. It's such a fascinating technology that can do so much good for the world.